We are back for the average uninformed. Have you guys seen the new Predator movie directed by Shane Black? Well, we did, and we are going to go in depth with it today, so spoiler warning if you have not seen it. Grab a drink and enjoy. Just kept it going. Just record. All right. All right.
Go?
All right, we're going.
We're going?
So, Josh, what do you got for us this week?
You want to talk news right away? Well, we can start with the sad news, or do you want to do other news first?
Oh, is it Stanley related?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can't really not mention it, but Stan Lee passed away this week at age 95.
He was 95?
95 years old.
Oh.
Yeah.
I am clearly not up to date with his age. I thought he was in his 80s.
No, he's 95. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I don't think they actually released the cause of his death, but I imagine it was just kind of old age illness related, like pneumonia or something like that. But it wasn't like he had a fall or anything like that or a heart attack. It was old.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, we both are fans of him. I think we both met him at different times, right?
Yeah. He signed my Spider-Man poster I had when I was a kid.
Yeah. You had a pretty good experience with him, right? Like,
kind of. It was a big lineup for autographs, but then like my sheet kind of got passed over to him.
Mm-hmm.
He made a little comment about that he's never seen that poster before.
Oh, really?
And then it was like, okay, next.
Yeah.
They kind of like the guys helping him kind of shuffled me along. Yeah. So, which is kind of disappointing, but
yeah, I
get it. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that too bad? I mean, at least he spoke and stuff. My experience was a little bit not as good, I guess. I went and saw him the last year he was going to come to Canada. And so
was it Fan Expo or?
Yeah, at Fan Expo. Yours was Fan Expo as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he announced earlier in the year that Fan Expo was going to be his last Canadian appearance. And so I was like, well, I better go see him because this is my last chance. And unfortunately, so did most people as well when they heard that. And so the lines were incredibly long, which is kind of a testament to how much people like the guy. And ended up like there were just so many people, and like he was like 93 maybe when this was going down, maybe 94. I can't remember if it was last year or not, but probably not. But anyway, when we got there, it was just like, I don't know how to describe it other than like mechanical. Like he didn't ever look up. Like someone just threw something in front of him. He signed it. They threw it away. And then next thing. And he was just constantly signing the entire time.
Yeah. The guy in front of me had I think it was a Black Panther comic.
Yeah.
And he had it in a sleeve. I guess it was like a really special edition comic.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a little slit cut where he wanted Stanley to sign.
Okay.
And
he signed on the plastic?
He's really, I talked to him after. And yeah, there was a bit of the marker like on the little sleeve. So like if you took that away, you'd have a little hard edge on where Stanley's signature started and ended.
Yeah. But yeah, and so to be honest, I was a little disappointed with my experience with him. Like he didn't even look up when I went through the line, and like waited a long time. But like but I mean, like not disappointed in like what a jip or whatever like that. It was just kind of like, oh, I was kind of expecting more. But I mean, with that many people there, like you can't expect him to spend a certain amount of time with everybody.
But you'd almost wish for them to just limit the people then so that you can have that time.
And that was the thing too. Like I was thinking about it after, and I was just like, he doesn't need to do this. It's not like he's hard up for cash, I imagine. Like, and like they were charging a good chunk of change. I don't even remember what it was now, but
I think I paid like
it's a couple $100, I think, for an autograph. Maybe it was less than that. Maybe
mine was definitely under 100.
Under 100?
Yeah.
Okay, ours was a little bit more expensive, but again, it was his last appearance, and there's so many people, and like they jack up the price to limit the amount of people who are going to do it. But I think most people, and myself included, were like, well, it's now or never. Like, might as well.
Yeah, but you and I both know jacking up the price doesn't limit people.
No, not at all. And I mean, yeah. So anyway, I was like in line for a good 3 hours or something like that. Because he ended up taking like an hour break while I was in line.
Yeah.
And so we were just kind of stuck waiting in line. Luckily, we were against a wall, so you could lean and stuff. But
Wait, who was with you?
my dad actually came with me.
Oh,
yeah. It was his one and only time at Fan Expo. So he got the full experience of lines and although we did see some celebrities he was pretty excited about. But anyway, back to Stanley. Yeah, and afterwards, I just kind of felt bad for him.
Yeah,
because
right.
it was just like that's how he spent the last couple years of his life. But I was thinking about it this week because I was watching a lot of stuff about him and people remembering him and stuff. And I kind of had the realization of just like, yeah, he didn't need to do that, but he loved being with his fans, even though towards the end of the day, he was kind of exhausted and became like a conveyor belt and stuff. So
yeah, signing hundreds and hundreds of autographs.
Yeah. Like just imagine, like I get sore from drawing for too long. And I mean, I'm in the prime of my life, you know, probably not. I don't know. I'm not 90 is my point.
I wonder if he got any like weird stuff to sign.
I'm sure he did.
Like some weird kinky Spider-Man stuff.
That would be weird. I don't know if they'd let him. But yeah, it was just all very mechanical, and I did feel bad for him at the time. But yeah, I guess I don't know if you're listening and you don't know who Stan Lee is. We didn't really talk about it. I mean, he was the head of Marvel. He was really maybe like the grandfather of Marvel. Would that be an accurate?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Description of him.
Although to be fair, if you don't know who Stan Lee is and you're listening to this, you've missed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but everyone has their first exposure, right? But anyway, you would recognize him if you watch Marvel movies. He's the guy who is a cameo, and everyone kind of gets all a titter when he appears on screen.
What was that movie where he was talking to the Watchers at the end of Guardians?
I think it was Guardians 2.
Oh, that'd be interesting if they like worked that in somehow. Next few movies.
I think that was like a fan theory for a while that he was like a watcher, and that's why he was. That's the in canon like fan theory, right? Like that, how to explain how he just keeps showing up, and it's like there's movies, right? Like it's okay for an actor or like someone to appear.
Just a guy who can't keep down a job.
But anyway, yeah. So Stan Lee, he created a lot of the more famous Marvel characters that you know today. He created Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, the Hulk, the Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, Black Panther.
Wolverine
was later. He created the X-Men. I think Chris Claremont created Wolverine.
I'm just picturing him with his weird like whisker mask.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it wasn't Chris Claremont, but he joined the X-Men in Chris Claremont's run in the Giant Size X-Men. He was in the second iteration of the team.
You were reading that too, weren't you? Don't you have that like compilation of comics?
The Giant Size X-Men?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I haven't read it, so probably not.
Oh, well then never mind.
I have some. I have some of the more famous X-Men stories are from the Chris Claremont age. But yeah, I heard that too.
That's people yelling outside.
But anyway, so yeah, he passed away this week, and we were talking before off show. What was that called? When we weren't recording.
Off mic?
Off mic.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. We were talking more about it. Just kind of like the cultural impact, like because Victor and I are immersed in the comic book community. You more so than me. So we know who he was, and like he did mean something to us. But yeah, I was just surprised like how affected he was because Victor was. Well, my Facebook feed is just filled with Stan Lee posts all week. Oh yeah. Just different ones, like a lot of weird memes and stuff like that. Did you get that?
A little bit. Yeah, I got a few. I got a few posts from people that like I've never known to be like Marvel fans, not even fans, but like people who enjoyed those movies post about it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and I was very surprised by how affected everyone kind of was by it. Like my sister texted me when he died, and she'd be like, "Did you know Stan Lee died?" It's like, well, yeah. But yeah, I saw. Did you see the Toy Story 3 meme?
Yeah.
That
Wait,
one?
meme
or whatever? But someone photoshopped some pictures from Toy Story 3.
No, I didn't see that one.
Okay, so it was just, do you remember the end of Toy Story 3 where Andy is giving away all of his toys to a young girl?
Yeah.
And so he's like going through and being like, this is Woody and he's my bestest friend. And yeah, and this is Buzz Lightyear. He's from Star Command, whatever. So they did that. And it was Stan Lee was Andy and Kevin Feige was Bonnie, the little girl. And so he was going through all of his characters and being like, this is Spider-Man. He shoots webs and he's awesome. And
I hope Kevin Feige had like little girl hair.
Well, it was like the worst Photoshop ever. It was just like they cut out his head and pasted it on top of the body.
Just literally like a copy and paste job.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of Toy Story, Victor.
Toy Story 3, I heard.
Toy Story 4, actually.
Wait, dang it.
Toy Story 4. Did you see the teaser trailer for it?
Yeah. Key and Peele?
Yeah. That was one of them. There's two of them that came out. There's one with a spork in it, and they're like all dancing in a circle.
Oh, no, I didn't see that one.
You didn't see that one? Anyway, what do you think about it?
I'm excited for it purely for Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I liked number 3, but just kind of done with it. Like, I'm okay with it ending off where it did.
Yeah.
So them making a 4th one, it's like, yeah, sure. Key and Peele, nice. Watching it for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, that's the thing too. It is kind of in the realm of why are you making this? But, you know, Pixar is, well, at least with Toy Story, their sequels are pretty darn good. So,
I mean, I can't think of a bad movie from them.
From Pixar?
Yeah.
Oh, there's been a few, but,
although it probably doesn't help that, like, I don't watch a lot of them either.
But I mean, like they don't like, especially with Toy Story, they don't tend to make, they're pretty good. Like they have more hits than misses is what I'm trying to say.
Like Marvel.
Like Marvel. Yeah. And they're both owned by Disney. What a coincidence. It's almost as if Disney buys the stuff that works.
It's a good business plan. They should do that more often.
Did you see the Detective Pikachu trailer?
I was going to mention that next. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? At first, I actually didn't watch the trailer up till about last night.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I watched it was because I saw the voice actor for Pikachu was Ryan Reynolds. I was like, all right, I'm sold. Let's give this a shot. And it's exactly what I hoped it to be.
It kind of looks good, right?
Yeah, it does.
I was really surprised because they announced this like like 2 years ago, maybe, or something like that. And I was like, Detective Pikachu? Like, it's like I understood they would eventually make a live action Pokemon movie, but it's just like, why Detective Pikachu? But you know what? It looked good.
I think Detective Pikachu is actually based off like a comic or manga. I thought it was.
I'm not sure. I'm uninformed about this, but yeah, I was just watching it and like seeing some of the old Pokemon walk around, stuff like that. It hit me right in the nostalgia button. Dirtier than I meant it. But yeah, seeing like Charmander and Squirtle and stuff like that. What do you think about Pokemon? You grew up with it, right?
Yeah, I think my first. Oh yeah, I think we got it right when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my cousins, he grabbed blue and I grabbed red. I remember because the stupid label on the game cartridge, if you play it for too long, which everyone did, it turns pink at the top, like it overheated or something, and the ink.
On the red one?
Both.
Really? I didn't know that. You didn't play it enough, I guess.
Yeah, we played. I remember we got them both because we heard that like, okay, certain, like blue has different Pokemon than red, and red has Pokemon different than blue. There's only like a handful, probably like 5 or 6 that you couldn't get without having both games.
Mm-hmm.
And then we played through yellow, which I'm not sure how. I think you can get all 150.
I don't think there's still some that you can't get, but the difference is you start with Pikachu, right? Like that's really the only difference. I think there's some.
Maybe an evil move. I don't know. Maybe I don't actually remember, but like, imagine how terrible it'd be. It's like, oh, if you got yellow, you're missing Pokemon from both blue and red. So you need more friends.
Well, they didn't all come out at the same time. I think yellow was a few years later, but
yeah.
So it's like they just kind of assumed you already had.
Not only do you not have those Pokemon, you have to go find a copy of this game.
But I grew up with the TV show, actually.
Actually, before you go on that, says here, Detective Pikachu was a game for the Nintendo 3DS. Came out 2016 in Japan.
Oh, so only in Japan.
And then was released in North America for March 23rd, 2018.
Oh,
it's a short, downloadable version of the game called Detective Pikachu: Birth of a New Duo. Anyways.
Oh, well, now I am informed.
Yeah, I thought it was manga, and
you were not completely wrong.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was really into the TV show growing up, and I you know what I would do is, you know how in the middle, the first commercial break, it would be like, "Who's that Pokemon?"
Yeah.
I would tape the episode, and then when it came back from the commercial, I would pause it and I would draw the Pokemon that was there, and I would draw the new Pokemon in the episode, and so this little sketchbook of all the Pokemon, and I just do it based off the TV. But yeah, I just draw them all the time. And then my brothers got red and blue, and I didn't really get to play it.
You just watched them play?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
All right. Favorite Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon?
What do you think about that? Mine, I think mine is Sandshrew.
Sandshrew?
Or no, wait, Sandslash.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember the little animal it's based off of, but it's pretty darn cool.
Oh, okay. I don't have an answer for you right now, but while I'm stalling for time, I'll tell you the story about when I was at school. And like when I was at animation school, I was a little bit older than most of the students there. And so they loved Pokemon, and they were always playing, and they had it on the 3DS, I assume, because they could play in the same room as each other and stuff like that without a cable. Oh, how far technology has come. But anyway, they would be playing, right? And they're just like, "Josh, do you like Pokemon?" And I was like, you know what? I used to be into Pokemon when I was a kid. And they're like, "Oh yeah, what was your favorite Pokemon?" And I was like, okay, choose a newer one so they don't think you're really old. And so I was just like, Totodile? And then they're like, "Man, that's so old. That's like second generation." I was like, "There's been more than two."
Oh, actually, yeah, we kind of figured out people's ages by their by the Pokemon starter that they originally used.
Okay.
And everyone in our group had Gen 1, so Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, or Pikachu. And I remember this one guy was like, I don't even remember the stupid Pokemon's name. They're like, "Oh, you're so young. That's from second gen." I was like,
what do you got there, Victor?
I'm trying to find... Well, while you were talking, I was trying to find the animal that Sandslash was based off of.
Oh, like an armadillo or something?
No, not an armadillo. They're like a...
Porcupine.
No, it's different.
I don't know. I like Bulbasaur, I guess. I'm trying to I don't want to like lock down that answer.
Like just tossing out monsters.
Victor, this is really high stakes. Okay.
So commit.
I don't know. That's the first one that comes to my mind, but I feel like there's someone else I liked. I always liked using Nidoqueen. I'd always catch a Nidoran female towards the beginning of the game and just use them the entire time throughout the game.
I remember I caught them just for the sake of catching them.
Yeah.
Just to have them in the Pokedex. I never used them. Are they actually good though? Like what? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm sure someone would be like, well, "He uses a Nidoqueen? Come on, man." I'm sure there's all sorts of different monsters you could use, but yeah, we like call them monsters. That's how old we are, because they were pocket monsters. All right. Anyway, so back to the movie. What did you think of the trailer?
Ryan Reynolds. 10 out of 10.
You liked it?
Yeah.
What about the other stuff, like the world? And
what other stuff?
You didn't pay attention?
Just Ryan Reynolds. That's it.
All right. I'm really excited for it, actually. Not really excited to the point of like I have the release date memorized and I'm counting the days or anything like that. But like I will probably go see it when it comes out.
I will say like Pikachu looks pretty good.
Yeah.
For a live action movie.
Actually, that's my one qualm is that Pikachu looks really good, but like the other ones,
like Charizard,
look too cartoony. Like I wish they had gone a little bit more towards lifelike. It's really just the eyes, I think. Like because I like the textures that they've done on them, but it's the eyes. It's just
I'm trying to think of the one Pokemon that they showed. I can't talk. That had the fur on it just looked really strange.
Jigglypuff was in it. And it was the Jigglypuff with the marker from the show. Because that was the thing in the show that Jigglypuff would sing and then she'd get really ticked that everyone fell asleep while she was singing. So she would
draw on your face
with a permanent marker.
What do you think of Mr. Mime?
See, that was the thing is like he looked really cartoony. And I mean, like that's the thing. He looked exactly like the Pokemon drawings. But
you think studios are realizing that fans just want like accurate versions of their characters and not Michael Bay Transformers?
Yeah, probably. I think that's if they had to go one way or the other, that's probably the safer choice is to just do make 3D drawings of what they already look like.
Well, like you saw the trailer for Bumblebee. You saw the like the G1 versions of like Soundwave and Optimus Prime, like briefly.
Vaguely, yeah.
They looked, I don't know, like I was looking at them and they look fantastic. Like they look so much better than the movie version we got from his previous films.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a different time, like you said. Like filmmakers have kind of realized, fans will like it better if you do what they remember, like instead of updating it and trying to put your non-fan point of view on it. But
a little too late, Michael Bay.
So what's that?
A little too late, Michael Bay.
Oh, speaking of Michael Bay. So remember last week we talked about Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah.
So they released the actual title for it. Remember how we joked about how it should be the fourth movie with the 4 in it?
Oh, no.
So it's Bad Boys for Life, but the E is a 3. Oh. It's so terrible.
It's pretty bad. You think they were like, we really want to use this. But
we don't know if we're going to get a fourth movie. It shows a lot of faith in their franchise, eh?
Wait, it'd be funny if they spelled 4 with the number 4 too.
Yeah, so it's 43. You're like, man, I missed the other 42 movies. Anyway, yeah, that's what I had. That's all that happened with that news.
What else you got?
I got some non-movie news. I got
hit me.
Some weird stuff. So there's a 35-year-old Japanese man who married his
I saw that
computer-generated singing software named Hasuni Muku.
It's like a little robot, or not a little robot. It's like a little computer that is like a karaoke machine. But it's like a console for a karaoke.
Yeah, but it like is personalized, so like it recognizes you when you walk in the room and stuff, and says like it's not like he married his Xbox. It's like it actually talks to him and stuff. But
like my Google Home.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But like your Google Home, if I wanted to, I could say, "Hey Google," and tell it to do something. Whereas like this thing would probably only respond to him or something. I don't know. But the point is,
I'm honestly surprised that it didn't turn on when you said that.
Well, I said it very quietly on purpose.
Well, I don't know. I would be in my room and I would say that phrase, talking to someone on the phone, and I would hear it out here.
Be like, boop, boop.
Did you say something, Victor? How can I help you?
Anyway, so he had a private wedding for this, cost $18,000. He invited 40 guests. He could have got her
upgraded.
What's that?
He could have spent that money on upgrading her.
No. And he invited 40 people that came. I think that was including him. But his parents did not come.
That makes sense.
That's too bad for him. But
coming from an Asian family, yes, I understand.
Really why I wanted to talk about this story is two things. First off, I looked up the pop star that he married, Hasuni. She's 16 years old, or at least like the anime character is 16 years old.
Of course they
are.
So
there's that red flag right there. But the other thing was 40 guests who came. Can you stop encouraging this kind of behavior?
But you know, the benefit of marrying a computer software, you keep aging, but they stay the same age.
She'll be a minor forever.
Yes.
But anyway, please stop encouraging this behavior. Like, come, the guy needs help. Like, get him signed up on a dating app or something like that. Get him some therapy.
To be fair, that's pretty low on the list.
Yeah, first off, take away his singing software. I mean, if he wants to hang out with this thing and do whatever he deems appropriate in his relationship with it, that's fine. Do your thing, but don't spend $18,000 on a wedding. It's just, there's better ways to spend your money and time. And I'm sure,
like upgrading your wife.
Mail order brides don't cost $18,000. Maybe they do. I don't know. I've never looked into it. Victor, do you know? Have you looked into this? Mail order brides.
I don't want to comment.
Yeah. Okay. How much did your cost, Victor?
You know what, Josh?
All right. I'm sorry. The other story I've got here, a Saskatoon tattoo artist died, and he wants his skin removed and preserved.
Oh yeah, that's a service now.
Why?
I mean, you're not going in expecting to have your entire body skinned.
But he wants his whole body. Like he has, I think it's like 92% of his body is covered in tattoos or something like that. And he wants like the majority of it done.
That's too much.
Anyway, it cost $80,000.
That makes sense.
So
$70,000 to actually commit someone to do it.
Yeah. So apparently there is a service in the States that will, if you want.
Do you think they do it after the funeral, or do they?
They do it before, and it's an open casket.
Okay.
No, I don't know how they do it, but like, why?
Well, they skin you.
Like I get that it's a work of art, but then it's like, just think about that, like hanging in someone's home. And it's like, oh, that's an interesting piece of art. It's like, yeah, that's my dead husband's skin.
Oh wait, what was I watching? Someone did that and used that as like clues.
Clues.
Yeah.
Like,
so someone,
it was like a mystery show.
Yeah. It was like they were interviewing the murderer, and he led them to this house, and one of the detectives or whoever's leading the case found like this piece of art, and it was like a drawing of a flower. And he's like, that looks really familiar. And it cuts back to like this girl he was seeing back in college or university. And that was a tattoo on her body.
Yeah. People are weird. Please. Okay. Here's two things you should take away from this podcast is, don't marry a computer generated anime pop star.
No, that wasn't the message. The message was don't spend $18,000 when you can be using that to upgrade her.
All right. Whatever. Take what you will from that. But second one is, please don't hang up your skin after you die.
The way your life.
That's the weirdest thing. I just kept picturing, like, you know how when they on like computer games, when they like have the skin image, and like if it's on a PC, you can look up all the images that they use to map it onto the 3D model.
Oh, it's like all unfolded.
It's all flat and unfolded. That's what I kept picturing every time. It's just like the eye holes in the mouth.
So wait, would it be better for you if they just preserved the body in like a tank? You know how they did that with that shark? They just preserved it's like a floating shark body in like this giant glass case.
You know, the Body Works Museum? But they keep the skin?
Yeah. Would that be better?
Oh. Okay. It's bad enough that we had to see your tattoos for your entire life. Why would we want to see it after you're dead?
Okay. Turns out Josh doesn't like tattoos.
No, it's okay. If you want a tattoo, go ahead. Anyway, so I don't know if this is actually true, but someone said that Avengers 4, the title for it is a line from another Marvel movie.
Is it too much to ask for both?
Well, that's part of the game. So someone wrote a bunch of these out and like made them nice. So I'm just going to read you some of them, and tell me what you think is the most reasonable one. Okay. Avengers, bunch of jackasses standing in a circle. Avengers, I understood that reference.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Avengers, boom, you looking for this?
Oh, is that Brody?
Yeah.
But wait, for that line to work, do you have to say that title like 3 times?
Yeah, you just have to go through the entire scene after that. Avengers, doth mother know you weareth her drapes? Avengers, piss off, ghost.
I'll pick that one.
Avengers, you didn't see that coming? You have to say it in a Russian accent, though. Avengers, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I just keep going back to roadies.
Avengers, I'm looking at porn.
Okay, I can't
I think that's from Spider-Man. Okay, and the last one. Avengers, ow, my nipples.
Drax.
Drax,
right?
yeah, that's Drax. What do you think, Victor? Is any of those titles you think could be the possible Avengers 4 title?
Yeah, definitely. Boom, you looking for this?
Do you even care at this point what the real title is?
Not really.
No, me neither. Like,
mean,
I don't care if they if they reveal it or not. I don't.
It'd be kind of a disappointment if it wasn't Assemble.
Yeah, I don't know if they could do that though, because the first one when it came out in the UK it was called Avengers Assemble.
Well, they can suck it up and find another title.
That's true. The UK can just get a different one.
Yeah, they're not the center of the universe.
Yeah,
Apparently the US is.
Okay, I got 2 more things that we can talk about. Then we'll jump into this movie. Okay, so
good.
Venom. Longtime listeners of the show will know our first episode was about Venom. It made $111 million in China in one weekend.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot. That's apparently it broke records. It's the second biggest superhero opening in China after Infinity War.
Whoa. Okay, that's
It's now sitting at $673.5 million worldwide. So that means for sure they are going to make a sequel. Now they haven't announced anything, but like there's no.
it just
It would be
100%
dumb
means
not to make a sequel at this point.
we're not going to get Venom in a Spider-Man.
No,
MCU
and
movie.
it actually kind of points the other way. Like it kind of makes you wonder after their little deal is done, will Sony let Marvel use Spider-Man again? Because it's like, well, clearly we know what we're doing now.
Well, I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah.
Get my hopes up. This isn't going to turn out well for
Yeah. I
people
mean,
who are wishing for Spider-Man and Venom to mingle in the MCU.
yeah. I mean, Venom was never my favorite villain, so I don't care that much. But
He's not a villain, Josh.
oh, I'm sorry. What is he?
It is an anti-hero?
Anti-hero. Okay.
Is that? I can't keep track of
probably
him anymore. I
appropriate
guess he's
term.
considered a hero now.
When I was growing up, he was a villain. He
No,
was
I think he was still an anti-hero.
Okay, well, I didn't read in the comments. Okay, last bit of news, and then we can move on. So a Japanese website revealed that Captain Marvel for sure takes place in 1995.
Oh, okay.
We knew it was the 90s, but we
Yeah.
didn't know what year it was.
Trying to think, is there anything relevant to have? I thought she was trying to stop. No, wait. Black Widow's stopping the Y2K.
Yeah, that's the
Imagine
rumor.
Captain Marvel came back to Earth to stop Y2K.
Because it was an actual alien virus.
Mhm. Oh, that'd be neat. Stupid, but neat.
Yeah. But it does mean some things in the timeline. So it means that like Hank Pym is no longer working at S.H.I.E.L.D. at that
Mhm.
point, for sure. And the Starks are dead, like Howard and Maria.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Um,
It's definitely not Martha,
so you probably won't expect cameos from,
which is
them.
fine. I'm fine with that.
I would kind of like to see, they'll never get it, but like, what was Robert Redford's character in Winter Soldier?
Batman.
I don't think so.
Whatever. Fine.
Whatever. Anyway, Robert Redford, I would like to see him back in a before he turned evil type of role,
Oh,
but they
I
would
think he
never
was-
get him back.
Pretty sure he was always evil.
That's right. Always
The
Hydra.
whole Hydra thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, that's all the news for this week, Victor.
Okay.
Did you have anything you want to talk about this week?
No. But
okay, well, that's
dang
it for
Josh.
the Average Uninformed.
That's such a good segue into this earlier.
What was it? Let's go back. What were we talking about? I'll
I don't know.
pretend.
Something bad. Speaking of bad things, We just watched Predator.
Yeah, Victor has actually before our first episode, Victor has been begging to watch The Predator.
Begging's a little.
It's hyperbolic, but you've been wanting to watch it.
Wanting to watch this.
I was not so keen, but I finally gave in this week. We watched The Predator. So this is not to be confused with Predator, the first in the franchise. So this movie franchise goes Predator, Predator 2, Predators, then The Predator. And we watched The Predator tonight.
That's more confusing than like Fast and Furious' timeline.
I know.
Did I tell you I looked into that timeline? Like someone like did a diagram for it?
Yeah.
Still confused.
Isn't it like
Tokyo Drift is like apparently the first one or something?
okay. Oh boy. That's we could talk about those another time.
Yeah.
Another podcast. We'll talk about the Fast and Furious movies. But anyway, we watched The Predator. It's directed by Shane Black.
Mm-hmm.
Written and directed by.
He was in the first movie, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was one of the guys who died. He was in the not Arnold Schwarzenegger role.
So cannon fodder.
Yeah. He was the guy who had the two terrible jokes. Like I can't remember what they are now, but
we watched this recently. I feel like I should know it.
I know. But he had the two terrible jokes in it that made Billy laugh the second time. He had that kooky laugh. He's like,
oh yeah. That was weird.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been the movie.
Yeah, whatever. But Victor, what happened in this movie? What's the plot?
Well, it starts off with two spacecrafts in space, and one gets shot at, and then it rips a hole in space, or I guess a wormhole. It's really weird. It's a weird visual of what we would normally see.
Yeah,
a wormhole depicted as.
Okay, so two ships. I honestly, I barely remembered that.
Well, like what, 2 minutes and we were already checking our phones.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's two spaceships. One shooting at the other.
One shooting at the other. One disappears. Next scene, crashes onto Earth, and then, whoa, fuck, who's the main character's name?
McKenna, played by Boyd Holbrook. He was the guy with the metal arm in Logan.
Oh, that's why he looks so familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Something stupid to say about that, but I'm going to keep that to myself this time. All right. But yeah.
So he's a sniper.
Was he like a U.S. sniper?
I assume so.
Or was he just like a mercenary sniper? Doesn't matter.
They didn't explain it. Yeah. He was just on a mission.
There's a lot of things that weren't explained in this movie.
No, not at all.
Also, moving forward, spoilers.
Spoilers, by the way. This movie sucked.
I actually really enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah.
This is like one of those, like, you enjoyed it because it was so dumb.
Well, yeah, like it's the same thing as like Commando. Like it knew it was silly and ridiculous.
Oh, okay. It did not have the charm of Commando for me.
No, of course not.
I didn't.
You can't live up to that.
I didn't see it as like, I don't know, like it was just bad. It wasn't funny bad to me.
But anyways, yeah, it crash lands on Earth, starts killing people. They end up capturing it, like this other weird secret military branch that hunts after predators. Like apparently Earth knows about predators now.
Yeah,
and they're prepared
there's been
for them.
A secret government agency that has been tracking their movements since 1987.
Oh yeah, since the first Predator.
First one happened.
I was kind of hoping that we'd see some kind of reference to like Arnold's character.
I actually read about this, that they came to Arnold and was like, "Hey, do you want to be in the movie?" And he was like, "No."
This looks like a terrible movie.
He was supposed to be like at the end of the movie, it would be like he shows up on a helicopter and he's like, "Come with me if you want to live," or whatever. And then he's like, "I'm not in the whole movie. No, I won't do it." So good for, like, he passed.
Selfish jerk.
Lucky for him, he passed. Because you just know, like, he would have been in it for like 2 minutes. And was it Sony who made this movie?
Don't know.
Whoever made this movie, they would have milked it in the marketing. They would have been like, "Look, Arnold's back."
Oh, kind of like they did for that Terminator movie. Wasn't he only in it for like 5 minutes?
You mean the one with Christian Bale?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like the same thing with like, I can't even think of a movie, but like G.I. Joe had Bruce Willis was in it for like 5 minutes, and they're like, look, Bruce Willis is in it.
Oh yeah.
And like, yeah.
Remember Expendables when they finally got the trio back together and it wasn't even that great?
For the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of strange to think
about. They showed that scene, and Arnold was only in it for that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just the whole thing. It's just a gimmick. But anyway, he wasn't in this movie, to make that clear. For the record, he was not in this movie. Good for him. Dodged a bullet.
Well, if you look at his career list, he took a lot of bullets.
So anyway, yeah, there's this secret organization that's been tracking the predators, and they finally caught one, and they're like, hooray, we caught one.
They sedated him heavily,
and they keep him in this big room where everybody works. No one has a workstation, really. It's just
people just buzzing around,
lab benches and stuff like that. And then
it breaks loose, obviously.
Well, first they grab Olivia Munn's character. What was her name?
Electra. Let's go by Electra. Actually? No. I don't remember any of these characters' names. I don't remember, like...
I paid attention to the ones I didn't know who the actor was. So I was like, I know some of them, but Olivia Munn's character, she's a biologist. Mm-hmm. And they just like... It's like the most not stilted, but abrupt introduction to a character. Just like... It's just establishing shot of a dog park. And then all of a sudden these government vehicles show up and they're like, hey, we'll look after your dog. Come with us. And you're like, who is she? Like, what? Why are you here? Like, what? And then
I only remember her like conversation with that one scientist was like, how did you get up here? Oh, well, I wrote a letter to the president when I was 6.
Yeah.
And then some stuff happened and here I am. But like that stuff that she mentioned in between that letter and then, not really related to aliens, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. So this movie runs at like a breakneck pace where it just is, stuff is just happening all the time. And like they never take a moment to breathe. And when you do, you're like, well, why is this happening now? Because you haven't really established why these characters want to stick together, or like why they're doing this now or whatever. It's so rushed through the whole thing.
But that's actually why I like this movie.
Really?
Yeah. If this kind of feels like our conversation with Commando, except you're not forced to hate it.
It's forced to watch it.
Oh yeah, that's true. No, I don't know. It moves on. It knows it's silly. It knows the audience doesn't really care about the story that much. Just get to the action.
You should care a little bit. Like I didn't like any of the. Actually, that's not true. I liked one character. His name was Nebraska. The chain smoking commando, the black guy. We had the scar.
Oh, yeah, shot himself.
Yeah,
Nebraska. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was the one character I liked in the movie, and I actually was like, yeah, I hope he lives. But everyone else, I was just like, don't care. And to the point where I don't know any of their names.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of some names. Nope, can't think of it.
So meanwhile, the sniper from the beginning of the movie. Did we establish there's a sniper? Boyd Holbrook, his character.
Yeah.
McKenna.
Mechanical Arm Man.
So he finds the ship that crashed.
Yeah.
And he
literally just loots it.
Yeah, he grabs a predator mask and a predator gauntlet.
Yeah. With like some kind of key on it.
Yeah. And so he has the forethought that I've gleaned from afterwards. They don't explain this, but he has the forethought that he knows that he's not supposed to be alive having seen this or something, like it's above his pay grade. Mm-hmm. So he's going to send this stuff through the mail to himself so that he can pick it up later as evidence to prove that he's not crazy.
Yeah.
And so he does that. He sends a predator mask and a gauntlet, and he takes a little orb, which is the cloaking device of the predators. He
had no idea what it was.
Yeah, he just decides to hold on to that.
Yep. This could be a grenade for all I know. But gonna put this in my pocket.
Yeah. And he ends up using it. They show that what it does later, that he knows how to use it. That it is a cloaking device, but then immediately after he swallows it.
And then is immediately arrested.
Yeah. I don't understand why he didn't use that to get back to the States.
I feel like he would just be running for a while.
But I mean, like that would be like the easiest thing. Like you could just go into an airplane with it.
But maybe he wanted to go. Maybe he wanted to be taken in so that he could say, "Hey, aliens? Maybe I'm not crazy. I got evidence."
I guess so. I don't know, but anyway, so he gets deemed crazy, and he's put on a bus with a bunch of other loonies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call each other. I'm not being derogatory. That's what they call themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I missed that.
Well, they call themselves that a few times. So then that's kind of like the hero group that you're supposed to care for the rest of the movie. There's a few guys there. You got Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, best guy in the group.
He was somebody who, and they do the standard like exposition scene of like, hey, here's this guy. That's his deal. And then there's that guy, and this is his deal. And then there's that guy, and that's what he does. And then there's this guy, and you're like, okay, this is what you're going to spend your time on. Like, you couldn't just create little tiny scenes for each of them later on, like in the movie, where it's like, hey, why were you on the movie bus?
That's a waste of time. Then we want to focus on the action.
Maybe it's like character building. I'd like to be shown stuff. I don't like to be told that they're all crazy.
For this kind of movie, though, just give me the Coles notes on who these guys are.
Oh, by the way, and
send them into battle.
By the way, they had Thomas Jane in it. He had Tourette's.
Oh, that's why he looked familiar.
Yeah.
Punisher. Yeah, or you have fallen.
And I don't know how I feel about them making fun of Tourette's. It just feels like a very 90s thing.
It's a pretty 90s movie.
It is. Like, it really is. Like, okay, we're not that deep into this movie, but like his son, Boyd Holbrook's son, is on the spectrum. So he has autism, but it's Asperger's. So he's very high functioning. Like, he can make jokes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like they do some things where like someone pulls a fire alarm and it really bothers him to the point where he has to cover his ears and stuff like that. And he's just debilitated and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then so he figures out the predator language because autism equals superpowers. Apparently.
Well, I mean, you spend 24 hours messing around with the predator mask that your father sent you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, because he didn't pay off his PO box or something like that.
And they deliver it to his house.
They deliver the predator mask.
That's kind of convenient.
Yeah. And so the kid figures it out because he has autism, right? Because autism kids, they all have superpowers. It's not it's a mental disease. Convenient. But anyway, okay.
But like,
but that's a very 90s way of looking at autism.
Yeah. And then from that point on, the movie pretty much picks up and runs. Predator breaks loose out of that facility, starts murdering a bunch of people. Elektra somehow manages to escape.
Like, how you just decide to call her Elektra. I'm looking it up so we can call her whatever. Olivia Munn. You can keep going. I'll just look it up.
But anyways, yeah, she's somehow she's a biologist, has no training whatsoever, but she decides to pick up this tranq gun and chases after the predator while he's wrecking chaos through this military base, just murdering people. And she finally crosses paths with the main group of the movie. And she jumps onto a bus that they're in.
On top of a moving bus. She just turns into an action hero. But
it's funny because she does all these incredible things, but then as she goes to take the shot, she shoots herself in the foot and immediately knocks herself through.
Her name was Casey Brackett.
Brackett?
And why does she follow the predator? Because one random scientist says, "Don't let him leave."
Okay.
And so she's like, yeah, okay. And she just picks up a gun and follows this. By the way, the thing wakes up and just decimates a room full of people.
Oh, but the weird thing is, when you first see him on that table, he's secured down, ankles, wrists, shoulders. He's got a strap across his chest. But when he wakes up, he just lifts his arms up and just starts slashing people.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is that's something I kind of had a problem with, is the action in it. It's on one hand, it's kind of cool to see the predator just rip through 25 people.
He literally rips.
Yeah, rips through with his claws. And but on the other hand, that's not the predator that we know from the other movies. He was always about it's about mind games and like staying in the shadows and attacking.
Well, what's he gonna do?
The opportunity and stuff like that.
Like he's on a table. He's not gonna. He turns into like the Riddler and starts throwing crushes at them.
I just mean like you could do it a different way. Like you could do it like he just bolts out of the room and they're like, oh great, now we have to go find him, and then he takes out people in stealthily or whatever as he goes or something. I don't know. It's just the action in this movie is very much rated R action. Like they want you to see everything. There's a guy who gets stabbed in the balls through like from the basement or something at one point, and like there's
that one scene where like that guy, one of the security guys, was thrown out a window and when
just explodes.
He just explodes. There's just blood splatter where he landed. Nope, sorry to interrupt. I'm sure you guys heard, but my mic was shitting the bed there. But we'll just jump ahead a few minutes. Some dumb stuff happened, which Josh hated, and apparently I loved. Back to it.
And then these two predator dogs show up.
Have we seen predator dogs before?
Yeah, they were in Predators, the one with Adrian Brody, the one that doesn't take place on Earth.
Oh.
They didn't look like that, though. They had like big horns and tusks and stuff. They didn't have the dreads.
Oh, that sounds badass. The horns, I mean.
Yeah, they looked kind of cool. Because that was the thing I was thinking about because these predator dogs come out and they have the same dreads as the predators.
Yeah.
And they have the same
weird mouth.
Yeah, the weird, what is it? Tendrils? What would you call that?
Tendrils is fine.
Mandibles? Mandibles
probably makes more sense.
Yeah. They have the same mandibles and they have the dreads, and it's I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like we don't have the same heads as a dog. Like why?
But imagine if we did.
I just pictured it.
Like imagine you got home. And
I mean, I know I'm nitpicking at this point, but like
also, did you feel like the dogs were changing sizes throughout the scenes? Because they looked really big when they were introduced. And then,
well, I mean, the kid is small.
No, but like it was it came around to like a chain link fence, and it was like taller than the fence. And then later on, it was small enough to fit inside a small little truck. It was a like delivery truck.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, whatever.
Yeah. I just mean, another thing that's really bad in this movie is, I talked about the pacing, but like the editing just in general, like there's just like all sorts of stuff where like stuff just happens and you're like, why is he in a cop car now? I guess he's in a cop car. Like, okay. And like, wait, you guys were all just in the Winnebago. Now these two people are not in the Winnebago now. They're in a different car. And like, it's just, they never establish anything. And
Shane
they just
kind of assumes that that these guys are just stealing shit left and right.
But I mean, that's the thing though, is that you never see, I don't know, like there's never any point where it's like, hey, we're going to go after him and we're going to separate. Or, you know what I mean? Like there's no setup. It's all just payoff. And but it's not payoff because you're not paying off anything because you haven't set up anything. And so it's just like it's fine if if he steals a cop car, but you need to either show him walking up to a cop car, or you need to say like, hey, you need to get a car to him or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like it's just confusing otherwise.
I don't know how he got that cop car.
Yeah. Right. Like where did
just
it
walked
come
up
from?
Just punch the cop out and it's like, yep. That's mine now.
Exactly. Right. And so anyway, they're driving through the neighborhood looking for the kid, because they figured out that the predator is going to go and try to get his stuff back because somehow he knows where Boyd Holbrook lives.
Well, I mean, he got one of those predator masks at the military facility and used that somehow like connect to the mask.
Yeah, that's right. He turned on a camera and it said the address of the house. Like he managed to find like a picture with the address.
Can you imagine that could have been address from, like it could have been a address on a poster.
I got a better question for you, Victor. How does a predator know what addresses are? Where does like I can understand if it's like longitude and latitude or something like that, but it's like, how does he know street numbers? How does he know how to read street names? How does he know that the city he's in is this city?
Maybe with his knowledge of humans.
Victor. It's stupid.
Well, you could argue that like they're here to hunt humans. They've studied enough to know what addresses are and they can recognize an address.
Anyway, so they're convinced that the predator is going to show up to take the kid, which they're right. And so the loonies are looking all over town. They're on all different cars suddenly looking for him. And then just as the kid is in the baseball diamond with the predator dogs, they all just drive up at the same time.
When that happened, it reminded me of Avengers when they all show up together at the same time.
Where? What part? Like at the
New
end?
York.
Like
Yeah.
in New York?
Or like in Infinity War, where they're just in the streets fighting off whoever those guys are.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, like his dad shows up, starts shooting at these dogs. Bullets do nothing to these dogs.
No, until the plot demands that they do.
Yeah.
And yeah,
then-
like it's just like, it's ridiculous too, because it's like characters are leaping out of moving vehicles and just like,
Yeah, they're not even
there's no
stopping.
reason you can't stop the car. Like, and like, there's a kid in the middle of the diamond and they're just like, I gotta get out and start shooting. And so they just jump out of moving cars.
You know, I questioned how come none of them ran the dogs over.
Right. So they end up killing one. I think one of them has what are those, like the mini grenade,
grenade launcher,
launchers, and he managed to fire a grenade into the.
The dog's mouth. Well, he kind of like bit the gun. He fired into it and then ate the gun.
Okay, and then the grenade goes off in his belly and blows him up.
Splits him in half.
And then the other one,
It's fucking wicked.
Nebraska sneaks up on it somehow and just gives a point blank
Shot to
the
It wasn't even a
temple.
sneak. He like waltzed up to it. He's like,
While
no big
the other
deal,
guys are
guys.
firing at it, by the way. Like he's behind it and he just walks up while everyone else is firing.
Everyone's got perfect name. He's not worried.
Yeah. It's not like they're crazy or anything.
They're loony.
They're loony. Anyway, and then so that for some reason makes the dog docile now and their friend.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, he's like a really cheerful,
They
happy
shot
dog.
the evil part of his brain out.
Yeah, they like shot him in the temple, or the equivalent of a temple.
Anyway, what happens after that?
They chase the predator. No, they keep running away from this predator thing.
Right.
And then they go to the school, and then predator number 2 shows up and completely wrecks the first one, rips his head off.
That's right. There's a second predator in this movie.
I don't know why you were surprised about the second predator.
Why would I not be surprised?
Well, like you saw there was a second predator chasing that one beginning. That the 2 spaceships in the beginning.
All right. Oh, I forgot about that 'cause this movie is edited so badly.
But again, literally the entire movie, bullets are just bouncing off him.
Yeah, until the end of the movie when suddenly they need to kill it. So, but anyway, this is like the halfway point of the movie that we're at right now.
You think it's the halfway point?
Maybe a little bit over.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the second predator shows up. What a twist, and kills the first predator. And so they even establish like as they're driving away, they're like, "Huh, he doesn't even care about us. He just wants to. He just wanted the other predator." It's like,
Yeah, makes sense.
so it's like you guys have no more stakes in this now. You saved the kid. That was your mission, and so now they go to like a farmhouse or something, right? It's out in the woods.
Isn't that where their house is?
No, it's in the suburbs. Doesn't matter. They go to someplace and all of a sudden they get captured. Like it was to a point where like the military showed up and I was like, okay, so there's gonna be a firefight. And then it was just like the next scene was like one of them being interrogated.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I don't remember that happening, but
And then they question Electra for a little bit. Casey.
Yeah.
And then she somehow managed. Oh, so they have before the military shows up. The dog.
By the way, the bad guy during the interrogation, he literally asks her a question. She answers it, and then he says, "Shut up." Anyway,
like,
sorry, I just
it's
thought of
equivalent
that.
of shut your mouth. Shut your mouth when you talk to me.
This movie's bad, Victor.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man, I'm never watching this with you again.
I would actually watch that again. But yeah, anyways, she's getting interrogated, and then she manages to get herself a grenade because prior to that, the predator dog walks into their farm, and to get him to go away, she decides to throw something, which I'm assuming is the grenade.
Yeah,
Or she
was
threw-
a grenade. Yeah, she threw a grenade to him. She didn't pull the pin or anything like that. It was just like, here, boy, get this ball, and threw it.
terrible, terrible decision.
Yeah, what if you bit down on that thing? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how a grenade works.
and also,
I'm pretty sure
that's
like
another thing too is just like, I get it. What I'm trying to say is just because it looks like a dog, why does it act like a dog? You know what I mean?
yeah, why does it act like an
Like
earth dog?
they do that a lot in movies. I guess it's shorthand so that you get kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. It's panting, it's wagging its.
well, like, and it
But-
fetches. Like
yeah.
that's a regular dog thing to do. My dog doesn't fetch,
I
but
don't think the predator taught him to fetch.
I suppose you would. But if it's a hunting dog, but like again, like why is it a dog? Like why?
Why not raptors?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this is the definition of nitpicking. But like
They get back, or she gets her hand on a grenade, fights off the guard, blows up the barn, somehow survives.
yeah. And meanwhile, like everyone else has been captured, but they've all escaped as well.
Yeah, they never really showed that. Like the loony gang.
Oh yeah, actually, one of them. No, this is what happens: is as the military is coming in, they said, "Hey, someone go get a helicopter."
They said that?
Yeah, they said get a Huey. That's what they said. That's
okay.
That's military slang for a helicopter. But anyway, so some of them take off, but the rest of them get captured.
Mm-hmm.
They all escape, and then as they walk outside, the other ones have stolen a news helicopter, and they just land. Yeah. So there is some setup and payoff. I'll give it that.
Oh, it's like the only part I forgot about. Anyways, they kidnap his son because I guess he figured out, oh, you know how to operate predator technology.
Yeah, because you have autism. You have superpowers.
Mm-hmm. So, which is perfect because they lead him to predator ship.
Mm-hmm.
They all get to the predator ship with that helicopter. Mm-hmm. They set up. They basically break into the predator ship and saves his son.
Oh, by the way, they take the kid to the predator ship, and he just immediately knows the code to get in because autism.
Mm-hmm. You imagine like the password is just like the equivalent of 1, 2, 3, 4.
It must have been because the kid broke it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and at some point, Casey has discovered that there's human DNA in the predators, and that their function is that they go around from planet to planet, and they take the DNA of the best survivors that they
splice them together with
and they
their
splice
DNA.
them in their DNA.
They should just went with aliens. That would make more sense. Humans,
yeah, you'd think like how awesome would acid blood be? Like,
aliens that are bred to just murder or people.
Maybe that's the problem is they couldn't combine the DNA because they kept burning all the test tubes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. So anyway, she discovers that, and so like that's the twist is that McKenna thinks that he's being hunted, but it's really his son because autism is a trait that you want to put in your DNA.
It's the next step in evolution.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just picturing predators in a lab with test tubes with their like long claws,
with no social skills because they've just put autism.
And they're all wearing like those masks over their mouths.
Now.
But the mandrills just tear through it.
Yeah, that's weird to think about them as scientists, but I guess someone has to invent their technology, right? Like ships, but
maybe it's other alien species.
Ooh, maybe.
I bet you there's a bunch of lore on that.
I'm sure there is, and it's also like something that I'm sure one day a producer will be like, you know what, we never know about how they got their stuff.
I bet you the audience would care about that.
Let's make a 2-hour movie about it.
And
I can see the one sheet now. Yeah.
How about a trilogy?
Yeah, let's do a whole trilogy about how the predators got their spears.
Or how they have those weird mouths.
Yeah, because we need to know that. And why some of them weird. We need to know that. Nothing can be left to the imagination.
Like the mesh shirt that they wear.
Yeah.
How do they go into that technology? Just picturing like one of the fishing. He's like, oh, I could wear this. Pulls a fishing net on himself. Yeah, it covers me, but it's breathable.
Have you heard that joke where it's like 3 guys are fishing and it's like the invention of fishnet stockings? And the one guy is like, my foot's caught in the fishnet. And the other guy's like, is it just me or does Bill look freaking hot?
That's terrible. I hope that's the origin of him.
Yeah, that's why they wear the netting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even care anymore. This movie sucks.
I liked it.
Oh yeah. And so okay, so the giant predator shows up, the uber predator,
Mm-hmm.
and he shows up and he just goes in, and then he turns on a translation circuit and just starts speaking English. And basically he says, I'm gonna hunt you now. So you have 7 minutes to run, and then I'm coming after you.
They actually get pretty far for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Like after like setting a truce, gathering themselves,
Yeah, so
and then taking off.
all the bad guys, they join up with the good guys. I put in quotations because I don't care about them. And then so they go into the woods because they realized, oh, the predator has always killed people in the woods.
So let's run to
We
the
need
wood.
to have a scene where he kills people in the woods. And so, yeah, so they go into the woods and he picks them off one by one.
Makes sense.
He starts killing off the loonies and
No. The faceless soldiers first.
the faceless soldiers first. And then, okay, we haven't talked about him, but the leader of the bad guys is played by Sterling K. Brown, who is an amazing actor.
I've only seen him in Supernatural, and he plays the exact same character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty much.
He was in Black Panther. He plays
Was he?
he was in the prologue. He was the uncle that betrayed them.
He was the uncle?
Yeah, he was
Whoa.
Killmonger's dad. But
I
he's
gotta
also
watch
on
this
This
again.
Is Us, and which is a show my wife watches. Like he's just a fantastic actor, and he's so much better than this role. But he's just like he's a bad guy who enjoys being bad.
Yeah,
basically.
like he knows. Like he points out things that are kind of badass.
Yeah,
Like that's his character.
yeah. So he's just like, did you see how that guy died? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyway,
I kind of like that about him.
yeah, I did like that about him, but he dies so suddenly. So basically, he ends up putting the predator's gun on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he asked the kid, because the kid blew up the house back in the suburbs, and he said, "Hey, how do you get it to fire?" And he says, "Oh, you don't tell it to fire. It just senses danger, then it fires on its own." And he's like,
Which is ridiculous.
"Okay." And then so what happens is later on they're fighting the predator, and the gun is firing at the predator, and someone calls his name, so he turns to look, and the gun is still firing and just blows his head off.
Oh, is that what happened?
That's what happened. It was so quick. And then
missed
they
it.
just never address it.
I missed it. I didn't want to like stop watching to ask. So I just
He
ignored
just
it.
dies. Like that's how he dies. Yeah. But
But yeah, they basically Predator hunts them down one by one, and then it gets down to the main cast, which is
well, he kills most of the loonies. He kills Thomas Jane by he pales him on a tree, and then he disembowels Keegan-Michael Key. And these two guys have been buddies the entire movie. And they both they share a moment that those laugh out loud funny where they are staring at each other.
Yeah,
And then both of them are like,
one's in the tree, one's on the ground.
and they both like nod at each other and pull out their pistols and both shoot each other in the head.
You know how like much coordination that would take?
I know, right?
Like,
and like
mentally?
yeah. And like the one guy has the shakes already. And like,
Imagine you missed.
dang it, but it doesn't matter because I died immediately. The other guy's like, dang it, he missed.
Yeah, I got to have to shoot myself.
Oh,
It's pretty hilarious moment.
yeah, it was pretty funny. Because they're like, yes, let's do this together. So the predator takes the kid because he's going to blend his DNA with him.
Mm-hmm.
He goes back in his ship. They jump on top of the ship. The last two loonies, except for McKenna, die through different means.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, Nebraska, he dies by sacrificing himself. He jumps into the engine, so the ship crashes.
Yeah, that's pretty badass death.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look
But
good.
he was suicidal. Like it's one of those things where like you don't need to do that, but at the same time he was already suicidal. Like that was part of his backstory. He had a scar on his forehead because he tried to kill himself earlier on. But anyway, they crash the ship, and then of course there's a fist fight in the jungle between the predator. Well, not a fist fight. McKenna has a gun, but there's a fist fight.
Was there?
I don't think the predator had any weapons. He had a gauntlet.
Oh, he had that. He had the gauntlet with the sword on it.
Yeah.
Which that arm got cut off.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. They kill him.
Yeah.
At the end.
They cut off a bunch of his limbs.
And then shoot
And
him in the
then
head. But
shoot him in the head.
now bullets work.
Yeah. I guess because at point blank.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, the last scene of the movie is the military has hired young Rory to be their technical advisor or language advisor on the Predator language, I guess. And they said something about the first Predator, the one that got destroyed about halfway through the movie. He launched this little thing, and they found it, and they're like, hey, we're gonna open it. So they open it, and it's like an Iron Man suit.
Yeah,
and then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, attaches onto a random scientist. He suits up.
Yeah,
it looks really janky, 3D.
Yeah, it looks terrible. It looks like it was added at the last minute.
It looks like a kid tried to draw the Predator and then gave him like mechanical wings.
And
weird. Like the neck was really strange on it.
Yeah. But anyway, so then the next movie was that's what we're going to use next movie.
I hope so. Imagine.
It didn't make any money though, so it's not going to. They killed the franchise, I think.
Really didn't like it, eh?
I hated this movie.
Really?
I did not like it. It was just like there was no charm to it. Like with Commando, there's a lot of dumb stuff going on, but you can follow it. It's simple. Like it's like there's so much going on in this movie. There's so many scenes where because everyone is crazy, everyone's just talking over each other. You can't understand what's going on. Like everyone is just in, and like there is some good Shane Black dialogue in it, but this is.
I just like that. Like every character in this movie was just like not taking this thing seriously.
Well, yeah. And it's just like, oh, there's
full of one-liners.
I even said at one point, I'm glad that when the first loony started dying, I was like, good. Now there's going to be one less voice when they have a group scene. Like they can finally understand what's going on when people talk. Like it's just, oh
yeah. I'm definitely enjoying. I enjoyed this movie for the same reasons I enjoyed Commando.
I didn't enjoy this movie whatsoever. It's bad. It was a bad movie, Victor.
If you were to give it a number ranking,
I don't like doing that. But out of what, 1 million?
1, 0 to 10.
1 and 0.
1. So it's like a 1 being good, 0 being never again.
0 then. I give it a 0.
Well, out of 10, I would give it a 7.
Victor. Wholeheartedly disagree, but that's your opinion and you're allowed to have it.
My opinion is right.
I'm glad you enjoyed this movie. I wish I could have enjoyed it, but it sucked. It sucked. It's like when this movie came out, I heard a reviewer say something along the lines of like it's like a movie where Shane Black got fed up with all the studio notes and was just like, you know what? Fine. And just did all of the studio notes. Because it's just like, it's just, there's no vision to it. Like it's just, they go from scene to scene and they fight the Predator and then they go, well, we have to go to this scene because like, it's just.
Yeah, it felt more like, hey, here's the plot for the movie. How many jokes can we sneak in?
Well, here's the thing too, like, cause there was one part in it with, the first scene where Casey is running around with the trank gun and they're in the bus.
Yes.
I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, this kind of feels like the end of the movie, but it was not. It was like the first action scene. And so I was like, it's weird that it's here. I was like, and so I got thinking and I was, cause I heard that note, that review that someone was like, it was like studio notes, the movie. And I was like, I wonder if this was the climax of the movie at one point. And just the editing has ripped it apart and now it's here. Cause it's like, it makes no sense that this girl that we just met, who is clearly just a scientist, there's no mention of her being an action hero or whatever, suddenly running around. And like, yeah, I feel like they had a very different, they started with a very different movie and it's just a mess.
It was a serious movie. It was supposed to be a serious movie.
Well, that's the thing is like, it sounded interesting. Like I liked the thought of let's take a bunch of crazy people and they're our heroes. Like, I mean, some of them worked better than others, but like, that's a cool idea.
Did you ever play Bad Company video game?
Is that the one with gold in it? Like you're always finding gold?
I think so.
I think I did.
Did I bring that game up? I didn't play too much of it, but like you're like you're a military unit.
But you've defected, right? And that's
No, you just play as B Company. You're not that. Basically your entire team is made up of people that aren't that great, kind of shitty people, and it's just jokes, one-liners, back and forth constantly, just goofy situations. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Except these guys are
like
just
it
crazy.
could have worked. I just didn't like. I didn't like McKenna, Boyd Holbrook. I didn't like him at all. Like there was nothing that made me like even relate or empathize with him whatsoever. Like none of the characters were built up in any way. Nebraska was the only one who kind of did. Like
a little bit of backstory, yeah.
He had a little bit of backstory. He had some mystery to him that was kind of slowly revealed throughout it. But like,
who's he played by?
I don't know. I think the only other movie I've seen him in was what was that movie? It won the Oscar last year or 2 years ago. It was the one that like Moonlight. He was in Moonlight. That's the only other movie I've seen him in. But
no, can't say I've seen.
Like he was good and I liked his character. But everyone else was just like, even actors I liked, like Keegan-Michael Key had some good jokes in it.
Oh, when they were on that bus, he was just tossing out all those like Yo Mama jokes.
But like he had some good jokes, but like those were Shane Black jokes, right? Like it was just, I liked the actor. I liked Thomas Jane, the actor, but like their characters, I was just like, don't care. And I laughed when they died. Like,
well, I think their deaths were supposed to be kind of ridiculous, over the top, hilarious.
Oh, maybe. And that's the other thing, like what I was talking about earlier with the action of where the Predator is just ripping through people. And it's just like, it kind of had the reverse effect on me, I think, because I think it was supposed to be like, oh my goodness, look at him just ripping through all these people. And it's like, yeah, but he's not getting anywhere near our guys that we're supposed to care about. And it wasn't until the end of the movie where it's like, hey, we're supposed to care about these guys and maybe we should start picking them off and stuff. That like, so like I never felt tension because of that. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
fair.
Like, because it's like, well, they're gonna live. Like I really expected if they had
they're nowhere
killed
near the action, really.
Well, yeah, exactly. And like if they killed one of them early on in the movie, then it's like, oh, any of these guys could go at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe that would be a little bit more, I don't know. But anyway,
yeah,
I didn't like this movie.
I liked it.
Why did you like it, Victor?
Oh, no, the same reasons, like I said earlier. It just jumps right into the action. It's got all these like stupid one-liners. It's like, it knows it's a goofy movie. It's fun.
I don't think it does though. I don't know. Anyway,
there's no way you can watch it and it's like, yep, they totally had a serious vision for this movie.
Agree to disagree, but
yeah.
But that was The Predator. I don't recommend it. Next week, we may do Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald.
I feel like we have to.
Yeah, we probably should. We did watch the first one in preparation for this week, but then we just decided not to do it. But all
right, I guess we'll
do that next week. Yeah. We'll watch it at some point.
I guess it's on record now.
Yeah.
Next episode.
Not like we can edit this out.
You know me, I don't edit things out. All right, you want to call it there? I was trying to think of how to end this, but yeah. All right, bye.
Bye.